Hey y'all, today we're going to be making some yummy chicken fried rice. Now to start out with, of course, we're going to need some chicken. Now you're going to see me cutting up and cooking 2 chicken breasts, but you're only going to need 1 chicken breast for this. So when I put everything down below for y'all, I'm just going to put the 1 chicken breast. But like I said, you're going to see me cut up 2 because I take half of the chicken and use it for something else. So that's why it looks like a ton of chicken in this, in this one little dish. So what you're going to do is go ahead and just slice up your chicken, and we're going to dice it into kind of bite-sized pieces. I just like to trim the fat and the little pieces of bone and all that extra gunk that comes on chicken. I trim that off, and then, like I said, we're just going to cut this into bite-sized pieces. Now, I love fried rice. And I've been wanting to make it at home for a long time. But the problem I've had is I don't normally keep stuff like fish sauce, oyster sauce, peanut oil, those kind of things that are typically in Asian food. I don't keep a lot of that in my house normally. So I don't usually have those things on hand to use in a recipe like this. So I searched and searched and searched to try to find a recipe that did not include all of those things. And this is the one I found. So we're going to make this, y'all. Once your chicken is all diced up, you're going to go ahead and add this to a Ziploc bag. And do not worry, I am washing my hands and counters and all that in between all this chicken stuff. So once you get your chicken in a bag, you're going to go ahead and add about 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch. And then we're going to add about 3/4 tablespoon of baking soda. Now, I adjusted this to the amount I was cooking. In the original video, she cooked a lot less than this. So I just kind of tweaked it to cover the amount of stuff I was cooking. So then we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of oil. Now, this is just canola oil that I had. You can use any kind of oil that you have. It'll be fine. Then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Now, in her original recipe, she called for dark and light soy sauce, but all I had was just the one kind of soy sauce. So mine ends up a lot lighter than hers, my rice, but it's just because it was a different kind of soy sauce. So, use what you have. But I may get some of the dark because it sure made the rice look pretty. Okay, so once we get that all together, we're going to let that chicken hang out while we get this done. We're going to want to let that chicken sit in that marinade for about 30 minutes. So to your wok, which I actually have, and I'm so excited because I never get to use it, but I'm sure you could use a regular pan and it'll be fine. So you're going to add about 1 tablespoon of oil, let it get good and hot. Then I scrambled up 3 eggs, and we're going to go ahead, drop that down in that oil, and we're just going to let that egg cook up. We're going to scramble that egg up. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. We're going to put it back in here in a minute. Once it, it'll cook a little longer, so it doesn't have to be overly cooked. You know what I'm saying? Once your egg is all scrambled, you're going to go ahead and remove it and sit it over to the side until we're ready for it. You're going to go ahead and add about another tablespoon of oil to your wok or your pan. And then we're going to go ahead and add our chicken in. Now, like I said, this is a large amount of chicken because I'm using half of this chicken for something else. But there was no sense in me cooking twice, you know what I'm saying, and messing the whole kitchen up. So I just decided I would cook it all here together, and then I will just take out what I'm not going to be using. Does that make sense? Do y'all do that sometimes? Just kind of cook it all and then, remove it. I guess it's no different than cooking a big batch of something in the crock pot and splitting it up, but we're just doing it this way. So I'm going to go ahead and cook this for about, I think I cooked it maybe 3 or 4 minutes, just until your chicken is done. And it's not going to take that long because the pieces are pretty small. And like I said, half of this is for something else. I'm going to go ahead and remove that and sit it over to the side. Now, you can use whatever kind of meat. If you wanted to use shrimp, you would, do the same thing. You would just use shrimp instead of chicken, or, if you wanted to use beef or whatever you want to use. But, this was chicken, so that's what I'm using. So once your chicken is all done, go ahead and scoot it over to the side and add you in about 1/2 of an onion. Now, this is some onion. I had bought a big bag at Sam's and just spent a day cutting up onion. And so that's why there's clumps in there, because it was frozen. And then you're going to add, I added the rest of what I had in a bag of vegetables, and it ended up being about 1 cup. So about a cup of frozen vegetables. You're going to mix that in real good. Then we're going to mix it over in with our chicken. And then we're just going to let this cook until our onion is translucent, and then our vegetables are, nice and soft. We want to get them, we don't want to bite into a frozen green bean or something later. So just, till your vegetables are kind of done, it's just going to take a couple of minutes. Then we're going to remove that, set it over to the side till we're ready for it. Then back at our wok, we're going to go ahead and add a little bit more, maybe a tablespoon or two of oil, and then we're going to add in our rice. Now, this is 4 cups of rice that I cooked the day before. It's best to use rice that you cooked the day before and not necessarily like rice you just cooked. And don't mind my hand being all in there now. I had some clumps, and I was trying to break the clumps of rice up, to get it in there so it'll be a little bit easier to mix around. But you see, I still had a couple, but just break them up and go ahead and mix it up real good. And I will link this wooden spatula down below for y'all. I love this thing. It came in a set, and they were not expensive, but they are the best thing. You can scrape your pan, and honey, it don't scratch nothing. So, of course, in true me fashion, I forgot the garlic earlier when we added in the onion and stuff. So I'm going to add it now. About a tablespoon of minced garlic. And we're just going to mix that in real good with the rice. And y'all, it was smelling so good at this point. And then we're just going to go ahead and cook this rice for about 3 to 5 minutes until it's nice and heated through. Because, like I said, it was cooked the day before, so it was cold, going in. So we want to warm it up good. Now, at this point, go ahead and add in about a 1/4 cup of soy sauce and then mix it really fast because your soy sauce is going to try to evaporate, and you want to make sure that you get a good coating on all of your rice. Now, I'm actually not mixing that fast. I'm sure y'all know I did speed it up. So just mix it up until all of your rice is nice and coated. And like I said, she used a dark soy sauce in hers, so hers was quite a bit darker. So that's why my rice looks so light, y'all. And then once your rice is good and coated with the soy sauce, you're going to add your scrambled egg back in. And of course, because it had been sitting for a couple minutes, it kind of clumped into some big pieces. So I'm just kind of breaking those pieces up. So you get a lot of it, so it's good and mixed in, in your rice, and you don't end up with just a huge clump of scrambled eggs. Now we're going to go ahead and add back in our chicken and our vegetables. And we're just going to mix that up really good. And like I said, we're not doing a ton of seasoning on this, but don't think that it's not going to have any flavor because y'all, trust me, it is so dang good. Before you add your salt, though, go ahead and taste your rice and see how it is, because you've added soy sauce. Now, I had low sodium soy sauce, but especially if you're using like the full salt soy sauce and stuff, you may not need to add much salt. So just taste it along the way. And then I also added just a little bit of pepper. But I'm going to tell y'all, between the garlic and the soy sauce and just a little bit of salt and pepper, this stuff has the best flavor. It is so dang good. But all you want to do is mix it up real good, make sure your seasonings are on point, and then you're just going to make you a bowl. Now, like I said, I know that most of the time this calls for a lot more seasonings and add-ins than what I put in here, but I'm telling you, you're not going to miss them. I love those things in my fried rice, but like I said, I don't usually have those at my house, so I wanted to find something that would still taste really good, but that would be really simple for everybody to make. So, like I said, fried rice, honey, it is really, really good. But that's it for me. I'll pop y'all another video over here, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Bye, y'all.